All the links to the original posts are given in the description. So now let's head straight to the video. I 30M asked my 25 Fahrenheit fiancé to sign a prenup and I think I broke her. This is a little long. Please do read and let me know what you think. So my fiancé and I have been together for 2.5 years and we got engaged 2 months ago. She's absolutely amazing and I don't want to spend a minute away from her. She's everything that I've wanted and needed. She comes from a middle-class family and both my parents comes from wealthy families and we've had a comfortable life growing up. I've spent the last 12 years after junior college to become a doctor like my parents, and of course my parents have quite a bit of money and property which my younger sister and I will inherit. My mother brought up the prenup first and I thought it was fine and I would talk to my fiancé first, but we had lunch 3 weeks ago at my parents' house. And while we're relaxing in the den, my family lawyer walks in and pretty much just hands over the papers to my father and they start talking to her. I stop my father and tell him that I need to talk to her by myself and this is not the right time or way to do this. My mother starts acting passive-aggressive and it's turning into an argument. My sweet fiancé interrupts us and says she'll sign it. She also thinks with how society is currently, my parents are just watching out for me and I was anyways going to ask her to sign one eventually. Yes, I was, but not this way. She has never shown interest in my money. She doesn't make as much as I do, but she's good at her job and enjoys it. When I gift her something expensive, which is usually on her birthdays, I've seen her act like it's some sort of burden almost. I got her a designer bag which she has still kept in the box at the back of her closet. She only wears the jewelry when it's a special occasion. When it's simple stuff, I think she a bit more overjoyed. She puts in a lot of work for my gifts and all of them are so thoughtful. I really love her. But ever since we came back from my parents' place she's been quiet. I have apologized continuously. But she says there's nothing to apologize for. There's still breakfast and packed lunch for me in the morning. I come home to a hot meal, and she's usually up waiting since I come back pretty late. When we're in bed, I tell her about my day just to have a conversation with her. And if I tell her I was standing 6 hours during a surgery, she'll immediately start massaging my feet. I can't see that beautiful glow on her face anymore. I thought it was best if we had a talk last night, so I told her not to cook. I'd leave work early, get takeout and come home. When we were eating, I started apologizing again for how things came about, how my parents were wrong to do so, and that I've been speaking to my mom and how I think she should apologize to her. She starts tearing up and asks me if she's ever made me feel like she's wanted me only for my money. I tell her absolutely not. I know she loves me with the way she cares and treats me. I told her nothing would happen to us. We're meant for each other. I'm nothing without her and the prenup is just a piece of paper. She still looked sad and asked if we could have a long engagement. We were to get married in Feb 24, but she wants to push for another year or year and a half. I want to marry her right now and I don't know what to do to make things better. Now let's move on to the next story. My boyfriend is disgusted at me for my habits and wants me to change them. Am I being too difficult? First of all, I feel really weird for this, but I have no idea where else to ask this stuff, so Reddit it is. So me and my boyfriend are dating for a little over 5 months. He recently kinda moved in. Not officially, and we haven't exactly talked about it, but most of his stuff is at my place and some is in storage. He sleeps most nights at my place and I just found out he gave up his former flat. He is a more quiet person, so learning things about him a bit late isn't really new. Anyway, ever since he is with me most days he became kind of weirdly judgmental about little things. Like he got very annoyed at me for leaving my wet toothbrush cup upside down on the sink to dry instead of towel drying it first. Not wearing socks in my slippers, humming, getting the mail in my pajamas. It's mostly just small stuff and I just change my ways because I don't care enough about them to get into arguments. About 10 days ago he was with me when I was eating breakfast and he got really disgusted at me when I put tomato paste on my bread. Like full-on disgusted, pulling faces, and he got really angry when I took a bite while he was telling me how disturbing eating tomato paste just like that is. He kept turning his face away like I was eating a live rat or something. At the moment I thought it was almost funny just because of how super silly it is to get angry about, I guess. Like it's just tomato paste. I know it's not that common to eat on bread, but it's something I did since I was small. My family was super poor and I just kinda stuck to it. It's no big deal, I think. He dropped that whole thing after and we haven't had breakfast together since. Last Friday though we went to a wildlife park with my boyfriend's colleague, friend and his wife. I packed for both of us, so I took water and made some sandwiches, turkey ones for him and for me mine, which were just plain whole wheat with butter and tomato paste folded over. His coworker's wife saw me eating it and asked what it was. My boyfriend got kinda startled, looked at my stupid snack and proclaimed awkwardly loud that it's just a Jell-O sandwich. It was very obviously not Jell-O and it was so weird. I didn't want to make a thing of it, so I just nodded along. even though it was very obvious that it wasn't true and his coworker's wife looked so confused. My boyfriend asked me to come with him right after that, and he got really mad at me for embarrassing him in front of his colleague. I got a bit annoyed too because I felt like he was talking down to me and I couldn't figure out why, so I asked him what the big deal is. He told me that I eat like an animal or a homeless person and that eating non-sweet foods is manly and disgusting for a woman. I didn't know where that was coming from, but he went on to tell me that he couldn't believe that I was trying so hard to embarrass him that much and why I couldn't just drop it. I told him sorry and I didn't finish my sandwich. Now I don't really know what to do. I think it's stupid to get that worked up about tomato paste. But on the other hand, it's not like I can't live without tomato paste on my bread, and I really don't want him to be ashamed of me. I'm just kind of worried that he will be just that even if I quit all the little things that he doesn't like about me. TLDR, my boyfriend is disgusted at me for eating tomato paste on bread as a snack. I knew about his opinion beforehand, but did anyway, and now he is angry with me and I mostly feel weird. Now let's move on to the next story. My ex-girlfriend broke up with me because I can't give her a baby naturally. So, I've been best friends with this girl, let's call her Lexi, for around 3 years. She had never been with a girl before or ever expressed interest to me in woman. Anywho, Lexi and I started hanging out every single this past year. It was like clockwork. Every night after her serving shift, she would come over and either stay over or we would stay up talking super late. There was times I would walk her to her car so she could go home. But then we would end up talking for hours in her car. Lo and behold, I found myself falling in love with her. We would call each other multiple times a day, spend every moment we could with each other, text constantly, call each other goodnight, basically acting like a couple. I eventually realized I couldn't keep this up, so I told her I had feelings for her. I was worried of ruining our friendship, but I realized it was sort of already ruined if I couldn't be honest with her about how I felt. What's crazy is that Lexi, with tears in her eyes, had feelings for me too. We took some time after that, but we ended up dating for about 8 months. I was happy. She loved me, and I loved her. Her family loved me, my family loved her. I started saving up money for a future with her. We both dreamed of having kids in the future, and artificial insemination is not cheap. I saved up to $50,000 in a separate savings account for our future home. I had mentioned this to her in one of our conversations, and she didn't seem to be fazed. A few weeks after this, she breaks up with me because she has always wanted to conceive a child naturally and doesn't see herself with a woman because of this. She told me that she has never loved anyone the way that she loves me, but her dream is to be a mother, and because I'm a woman, I can't impregnate her. She says this all with tears in her eyes, and I'm incredibly heartbroken. I love her and I want her to be happy, but I can't help but still have a hope for us. She wants to remain best friends, and I honestly don't want to lose her. I don't know what to think or do. I love her so much, and I know she loves me. Her last statement to me was, "I'm scared that I just lost my soulmate." That broke me. I'm conflicted. I know being friends with her long term is probably not going to be the best for me, but I really don't want to lose her in my life. Reddit. What should I do? Should I create some space between the two of us, or continue in a friendship with boundaries that give me reminders that I can never be with her? Now let's move on to the last story of the video. My BF only likes girls who weigh less than him and would need me, any GF, to lose weight if they got fat. I have a history of anorexia. When we were talking about our types, all he could think to say is that he only likes girls smaller than him. He said he's 150 pounds, so if any girl is more than that, he isn't attracted. He said he could probably stay with a girl that weight if she went to the gym and was actively trying to lose weight. He said he's all for body positivity. But if your doctor is telling you to lose weight, you need to lose weight, and it's just unhealthy. Also keep in mind that weight has nothing to do with my type. I've dated guys ranging from stick thin to on the heavier side. I wouldn't make a guy lose weight unless they wanted to, and it would only be for health, not looks. This is an issue for me because I've had anorexia for 13 years of my life. Being fat is a huge fear, and obviously this is a big trigger. He knows about my ed, but I don't think he understands, clearly. I've explained how it is triggering, but he's adamant about his preferences. Maybe I just need to accept that guys' feelings are conditional and based heavily on physical appearance. Today he even said I was making gains and that my thighs were thicker. He said he loved it, but to me that was very triggering to hear, especially because he only liked weight gain if it's in his accepted range. I also have been struggling with relapse urges, so this really triggered me. When I brought it up, he just said it's a good thing. TLDR, my BF has a preferences for girls who are small, way less than him. He will not accept a girl who is heavier unless they're trying to lose weight. This is triggering with my history of anorexia. And I also feel like part of why he likes me is based solely on my weight, which if that is normal, healthy. ETA, thank you all so much for the insight. I'm going to read every single comment, but not reply to all of them as I'm afraid I'm saying the wrong thing. It's really hard for me to know if I'm being sensitive or not, so thank you for everyone's opinion.
If you like the story, hit the like and don't forget to subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.